So, President Petro of Colombia says that Americans are a bunch of racists. We're all racists. And that the only reason why cocaine is illegal here in the United States is because we're racist. Because it's made in Latin America and we are a bunch of racist people who hate, you know, Central and South Americans or any, it's just so fucking typical of like leftoids at this point of them throwing their fucking like throwing this shit at us, you know? And like here's the thing. When I go to read this article, he actually makes a couple points that I kind of agree with at least a little bit. Like I actually don't have an idea with the idea of legal cocaine and I do specifically mean concentrated coca leaf extract, I don't think it is as bad of a drug as, say, heroin or synthetic heroin, fentanyl, methamphetamines, honestly. And cocaine was legal for a very long time. You could go to the drugstore and get it, and it wasn't like destroying society. So I'm kind of like I'm sympathetic to at least a small portion of this, libertarian brained as I still kind of am, but like it's kind of hard to give the guy any credit whenever he has such a demonstrably retarded take on, that the one kind of good take or mildly good take is wrapped up in an excessively retarded take. So yeah, figured I'd dive into this one. This one's just kind of funny, honestly. Ugh. This is from the Latin Times, but I'm reading it on MSN. I reckon because MSN probably translated it or whatever. This Damien Bio guy, maybe he's the guy who wrote it for the Latin Times. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Latin Times is even completely in English. I don't know, but this is where I'm reading it on this MSN website. But yeah, Colombian president says cocaine is only illegal because it's produced in Latin America, not because it's worse than whiskey. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make that kind of claim. It is worse than whiskey. You know what I mean? Like, human beings have been drinking alcohol for, you know, 4,000 years. I don't know exactly how far back we first learned how to ferment things, but, like, they were drinking wine before Christ, so at least 2,000 years. But definitely more than 2,000 years because they were drinking wine in ancient Rome and in Greece, and yeah. Um, And I don't know how long we've been cultivating and making cocaine as a species. Like, I don't know the history of cocaine production. But yeah, no. So like I do think cocaine is worse than whiskey, alcohol in general. It probably is, but again, I don't think it's a society destroyer. Not like opioids can be because like look at the current state of the West Coast and tell me that opioids are okay. You know what I mean? That just like casual non-medicinal opioid use is just perfectly acceptable because like again I'm libertarian brained on some things like I'm pro marijuana legalization but I am very very anti opioid legalization. Like I don't think you should just be able to go to the store and buy heroin. There's a limit on everything. I have lines I'm willing to draw, and that makes me not a libertarian according to a lot. And I'm not. Like I don't consider myself libertarian. I haven't considered myself a libertarian in a long time. Because I like a little bit more state than the average libertarian does. So, but then like I have a lot of like other libertarian takes. Like I was actually super happy whenever Russ Ulbricht got pardoned. Not just because I don't think he deserved, multiple life sentences for what effectively is creating a platform that criminals used. He didn't sell any drugs. He didn't deserve to go to prison for multiple life sentences. Like that was stupid. You know. So I was happy about that. It was a combination of I think again, I do think the law kind of it was a way over punishment. A punishment that didn't necessarily fit his crime. And then B, it was also Trump keeping a campaign promise. He promised the libertarians, if you vote for me, I'll free Ross Ulbricht. Libertarians turned out for Trump in pretty big numbers, and he kept his promise to them. He freed Ross Ulbricht. And it's demonstrable too, by the way, that that registered Libertarian Party members actually did turn out in high numbers to go ahead and vote for Trump, because like at least in every presidential election that I've taken the time to pay attention to, the Libertarian nominee usually came in third place behind either the Republican or the Democrat. But this time, Chase Oliver, the Libertarian Party nominee, came in fourth place behind the Green Party candidate. Jill Stein got more votes than the Libertarian candidate did. Like, Jill Stein got more votes than Chase Oliver, and that says a lot. Gary Johnson came in third place in 2016. Joe Jorgensen came in third place in 2020. I'm pretty sure Gary Johnson came in third place in 2012 also, if I remember correctly. And so, like, Libertarian comes in third place in 2012, third place in 2016, third place in 2020, fourth place in 2024. And that's specifically because Libertarians turned out to vote for Trump. And he did what they wanted. So, promises made, promises kept. But anyway, let's read this article. Colombian President Gustavo Petro said that cocaine is only illegal around the world because it's produced in Latin America, and that a change in its status would contribute to preventing criminal organizations from profiting from it. Yes and no. Like, if there would still be black market cocaine, because it depends on how highly regulated it is, and cocaine would still be highly regulated. You'd probably still, like, depending upon where you go. Like, here in the United States, I don't like see cocaine ever becoming recreational. But if you did make it recreational, it would cut into cartel profits. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but there still would be a black market for it. I mean, the United States, alcohol has been, other than that brief stint with probation that we had, alcohol has always been legal, and there's always been a black market for alcohol. There still is to this day. Petro made the claim speaking at a roundtable with his cabinet on Tuesday, saying that is the case not the case not because the drug is worse than whiskey. Quote, that is what scientists are analyzing. What indeed is affecting the U.S. is fentanyl, which is killing them, the president said. Petro went on to say that the quote-unquote business from criminal organizations could be, quote, easily dismantled if cocaine were to be legalized around the world. It could be sold like wine, he said, claiming that proceedings could be used to prevent underage consumption. Yeah, no. That's normally not how that works. Like, again, I'm pro marijuana legalization, but you know, it didn't come without its, we did see an uptick in underage use of marijuana in places where marijuana is legal. Like, again, I'm not saying that that's necessarily a reason enough to completely prohibit it from consenting adults to be able to consume it. But when you make something legal, it becomes easier to access for everybody. Yes, if you treated cocaine like we treated alcohol or marijuana, you have to be 21 with an ID to buy it. It would still be easier to access for minors because they just got to pay their older cousin or their older brother or fuck their parents. Their hippy dippy parents who don't care to do stuff for them like that. Whereas when it's illegal, it's much, much, much harder to procure. Again, I'm kind of making the argument for prohibition, but I'm not, at least for certain substances. I think the benefits of legal, at least at the very least, legal medicinal marijuana. I say we go full recreational, but like just the medicinal uses of cannabis alone, I think is between CBDs and all these things. No, marijuana does not cure cancer. I'm not going to get into all that here, but it does have numerous medical benefits. That's kind of beyond reproach. That's been studied and studied and studied to death. And I think all those benefits far outweigh the risk. And also, it's also demonstrable that marijuana is actually not as harmful to individuals as alcohol is. It doesn't do as much damage to the body. You can't really get physically dependent on it. When you quit, you don't go through any kind of withdrawal. Whereas if you become an alcoholic or anything like that, you do. There's no such thing. There isn't like some kind of like marijuana disease, or at least not one that we've observed that causes like that cannabis that like THC or CBDs causes like any kind of degradation in any of the organs. Whereas we do have cirrhosis of the liver for alcohol drinkers. So again, I'm kind of like I've got the fence shoved firmly up my ass on this topic. Petro went on to say that the business from the criminal I already read that part. My bad. But yeah, no, the point I was making, I got kind of lost in the weeds there, was that if you legalize it, it's not going to prevent underage consumption. It's going to make underage consumption a bit more prevalent, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Petro has repeatedly claimed that Latin America has been historically oppressed by wealthy right-wing governments in the U.S. and elsewhere, saying this continues to place the region at an economic disadvantage. He repeated such claims when engaging in a tariff standoff with his U.S. counterpart, Donald Trump, after briefly refusing to receive Colombian deportees. While the administrators were still engaged in this dispute, Petro wrote an extensive post criticizing the U.S. and saying he would resist. Petro described Trump and other American leaders as slaveholders who saw Colombians as an inferior race. I survived torture and I will resist you, he wrote. Make me fall, President, and the Americas and humanity will respond. Yeah, and that's what it always comes back to. We're slavers and we're racists. So effectively what he's saying, the only reason why cocaine is illegal in the United States is because we're racist against, you know, Central and South Americans. You know, fuck off. The Colombian and this other thing, make me fall, President, and the Americas and humanity will respond. No, I think you're like, no, the humanity's not going to respond. And we're not going to make you fall. You're going to make yourself fall from being an idiot. I got friends in Colombia. I've heard the rumblings on the ground that you won this election, but your popularity among the people has severely diminished since you took office. Like, yeah, you're gonna make yourself fall being an idiot. The Colombian president ultimately folded and agreed to receive deportees. He has since called undocumented nationals in the country to return as soon as possible, announcing his administration would seek to provide financial credits to those who choose to do so and request one. That's funny. This motherfucker over here is literally telling Colombian illegals in the United States, if you come home, I will pay you. I will pay you to come home. Quote, I asked Colombian men and women without documents in the U.S. to leave their jobs immediately in that country and return to Colombia as soon as possible, Petro said through a post on X last Friday. Wealth is procured only by the working people. The Department of Social Prosperity will seek to provide productive loans to those who return and enroll in its program. Let's build social wealth in Colombia. Yeah, literal fucking socialist cunt over here. Petro's so-called battle against the empire lasted no more than 3 hours because obviously mistreating Colombia's main trade partner would mean destroying the Colombian economy. Uh, Colombian Congressman Christian Garcias, I think is how you pronounce that, told the Latin Times on Wednesday. See, we got dudes like you know, in Colombian Congress who understand, who are like, yeah, I mean, this is stupid. Like, America is an ally where they brought us into NATO. They do a lot of trade with us. We get a lot of support from them. The last thing we need to do is, piss them off. And maybe we should take our citizens back. Why are they even there illegally in the first place? They should be here helping to make Colombia great again. Why the hell are they in America working for pennies on the dollar? Like, it's a completely reasonable take. Shout out to Christian Garcias. The number of undocumented Colombians currently residing in the U.S. is not precisely known. According to 2022 data from the Pew Research Center, approximately 1 million undocumented migrants in the U.S. are from South America, though no breakdown by country was provided. So it's probably no more than, probably less than 100,000 Colombians. I could be buck-ass fucking wrong there, and I probably am. But, like, who knows? The point is this whole video is that I just thought this was one of the just most brain dead takes I've seen out of a world leader in a long time. Like, especially from the president of an allied country. Oh, Americans only don't want cocaine in their country because they're racist and they're slaveholders and they're the reason why Colombia sucks. No, we're not the reason why Colombia sucks. We're not. So Colombians, at your next presidential, at the at your earliest possible convenience, at your next presidential election, like get this fucking idiot out, get him out, and install somebody based. You know, it's working. It worked. Bukele's doing good things. Milei's doing good things. You know what I'm saying? Bolsonaro was doing good things. Like we can, we can make this work. South America can be based. You guys just gotta nut up and stop falling for the socialist lie. Anyway, like and subscribe, and uh, follow the links in the description. Follow me on X. Like and subscribe on all the platforms. Check out the gaming channel, all that stuff. Until next time, do the algorithm stuff and throw me a bone.